when we are birthing a new project, the only way we can have a buy-in from the entire community is if we find this common denominator that everyone feels that they need in their lives, which is the element of fun and play. It doesn't matter what walk of life you find yourself in, there will be something for you to come and enjoy for the weekend. We bring the element of fun with the element of health and wellness so that people don't have to escape, and they can escape in a healthy way. We've asked the guys from Heartfulness Foundation just to open the event for us, to take us into a very conscious space for the weekend, to set the tone. We will be joined by Andra Sillier. She's one of the local artists and she's got an incredible voice. We've also got Hollow Body, which is one of the local bands. And then on the Sunday, we've invited the guys from the SA Blues Society, Lavina. Saturday night is going to be the party of the year. We've got two incredible DJs coming through. We've got DJ Tonya from Sasha Mama, and she brings the most beautiful expressive dance movement experience. And then followed after that, we've got DJ Kerry Ann Alliston from the Mix FM crowd.
Greetings, seekers of ancient wisdom. Today we have a very exciting show about a brilliant health and wellness festival coming up in a couple of months. So I'm joined by Cindy from Hive Mind, who are putting this festival together. It's called the Serenity Festival. So Cindy, welcome to the show.
Good morning and welcome, and thank you for all the listeners joining in.
Yeah, Cindy, so tell us about the Serenity Festival, how it came about, what is the thinking behind it? Because it sounds really fantastic when I've looked at the schedule and the lineup and all the things on offer. You've put a lot of magic and fun into this festival, and that seems to be the theme. So maybe you can give us a bit of background.
Yes, I myself have been a therapist in holistic healing world for the last 10 years. And in my process, especially when we went through the whole COVID reality change that the whole world experienced, what really stood out for me is that even though people went back to work and, they sort of just got back to business, there wasn't a proper integration of life before COVID and life after COVID. And myself and a couple of therapists were having a conversation one day, and we were just saying, how do we really make a difference? How do we help people to sort of reconnect to the new reality of what we find ourselves in right now? And I was very blessed to meet the team of Tixa. So Tixa is a ticketing company, but we decided to join forces, and through that collaboration, Hive Mind was born. And so Hive Mind really is a community initiative where we bring people from all different walks of life together. So not just people from the holistic wellness world. We actually also partnered with the guys from the Western medicine side, and we brought in some medical doctors, and it was a whole group of combining Western and Eastern medicine. And then, of course, we also thought, well, if we're going to be doing a community effort of how do we reintroduce life into society, we want people from every single walk of life to be represented in this project. So we started a 6-week project, or I think it was maybe 6 to 8 week project, where we invited people from all different walks of life. So whether it was someone who was an architect, someone who was never had anything to do with medicine in their life, housewives, people from different walks of life, and we started this innovation process. And in this innovation process, we decided we want to call this project Learning How to Live. And learning how to live can literally touch on anything that we as humans struggle with on a day-to-day basis. And the aim of this project was, how do we give people the tools to navigate everyday life? Whether you are a mother or you're single or you're in corporate or you're an entrepreneur, we've all got things that we sit with on a day-to-day basis. And that's actually what we share as humans, is this common factor of doing life, right? And life always happens unplanned, unexpectedly. And on top of that, I think the majority of people are constantly struggling with some health element. So whether it is a chronic something that they're struggling with, or whether it's a seasonal issue that they're struggling with, or whether it's an hereditary something that they're struggling with, there's always some sort of thing that we're overcoming. And so the understanding was that we need to put together something that will help people to navigate through all of this and to give them the tips and tools of how to be the most optimal version of yourself. So in a community setting, in a business setting, whether you are in a relationship with someone or relationship with your parents or your children, some skills are needed. And through this 6 to 8 week process, then we went into our innovation process where we unpacked it. So every week we looked at different things, and we actually went into something that I quite enjoyed, where we said, observe and learn. And so we started doing research on what's happening in society at the moment. So each of us had some tasks that we had to do, and we had to sort of go and research it and see what is happening and what are people struggling with and what is the trends, the health trends. And we also started noticing that people are moving away from the traditional way of living of only going to the doctor when it's an absolute emergency. As a result of COVID, people are now a lot more open to say, how can we make sure that we live in a state of prevention rather than cure? And that excited us, because that's obviously, for us as therapists, that's where we want to be, right? We want to be in a space where we can give people the tools to say, right, this is how you shift into a space of awareness, being more conscious every single day with your body, mind, and soul connection to yourself and your connection to your community. And then we started to put together 14 different concepts. So each of these concepts focus on a specific theme. So again, like I said, some would be community driven, some are how do we grow our own produce, some of it is relationship connections, others are personal health and mindfulness, mental well-being. So there's such a wide variety of things that we then tapped into. And of that, we then decided, okay, which part of this do we then start with our launch? And as a past experience for me, I've noticed that people only bring in change into their lives if it's something fun. They feel that, life is already, we've got so many things to do on a daily basis. If someone had to now give you an extra to-do list of this is what you need to do, then it's just going to be too overwhelming. So we decided, instead of giving them like a how-to book, or that might come later, but instead of giving them notes and, like really hardcore study material, we decided to bring in the element of fun and play. And I think that's also a common denominator that brings people from different cultures together, is things like food and music and fun and playfulness. And through that, we decided to start with wellness events. And we also launched a project called Unlocking Ancient Wisdom, which is us taking people from the corporate world into traditional settings. So we decided to start with the ancient practices of the Kalahari Bushmen. And we took a group of corporates and we took them into the veld for a whole week. And we said to them, guys, how do we unlock ancient wisdom within us? Because this is something that we all hold innately within us, right? And through taking them through a process of how do we connect to nature? How do we listen? What are the intuitions that come up for us as we spend time in nature? And then taking them through the experience of introducing them to the Kalahari Bushmen and their traditional way of living and how they use plants as medicine and their model for community, and how there's no chief or no leader. It's the community that comes together to make decisions and raise the children together. And, so it was really a fun project for us to show people that there's a different way to live. You can connect to community and get your wisdom from people around you. And that was a very successful process. So from that on, we followed to our Harvest Festival, which we had sort of at the end of April. And in that space, we invited holistic therapists, people who grow their own fresh produce, local arts and crafts, just to bring communities together, but at the same time, with an element of education. So we invited a nutritional specialist, Candice Johnson, and she was the one taking us through how do we actually optimize our diets and how do we live in a way that we support the human body. And it was, again, very successful. So then we decided, okay, now we wanted to take it a step further and we want to go even bigger. And we want to see how far we can push this, boundary of communities coming together from different walks of life. And that is obviously where the Serenity Festival was born. So I think we're going to obviously now unpack the Serenity Festival, but just to give you a bit of background, that was all community driven, and with the vision of learning how to live and giving people the tools on how to live their best life.
Wow, that is very cool that you followed the journey and took the steps and followed, one step after the other, and now it's brought you to have the experience, have the community network, because obviously you worked with the community, you understand what they did. So it's lovely to see the evolution, of an idea that started back in COVID, which was how do we help people live their lives better. Really, that was sort of your core focus, and now it's evolved into this wonderful festival. So I wanted to understand the fun element, because you mentioned that was how you're going to hook people to come and listen about health and wellness. So what is going to be fun about Serenity Festival?
Yeah, that's spot on, because I think, again, for me, from past experience, I get excited about health and wellness. And when I tell people what it's done for me in my personal life, I get mixed responses. Some people go, oh, wow, that's amazing. I would love to learn more or experience it. And others go, okay, that's great. But it doesn't really draw them in to say, this is something that I feel is an absolute must. And so one of the processes that we went through in our innovation session was the rule of adoption, right? Not everyone will tell you that your own child is beautiful, but when it's their child, they think it's the most beautiful child in the world. And in order for someone to think that that child is beautiful, there has to be some sort of buy-in. So there has to be some family connection or some community connection. So when we are birthing a new project, the only way we can have a buy-in from the entire community is if we find this common denominator that everyone feels that they need in their lives, which is the element of fun and play. So as adults, I think at some point in life, I don't know if it happens at a specific age, but we tend to forget that we were children once, and we tend to forget that life was carefree and it was fun and it was lighthearted. And we end up somewhere between paying bills and being responsible parents or corporate responsibilities, and then life gets heavy and we become very serious and the conversations become serious. And the downside of that is that often people try and find escapes that are unhealthy. And so for us, it was an absolute no-brainer that we bring the element of fun with the element of health and wellness so that people don't have to escape, and they can escape in a healthy way. They can have fun doing it. And so for me, the first thing is, if I was a 7-year-old, what would be the thing that would draw me in? And I've always been drawn to magic. So magic and mystery and adventure. And so again, we started this whole process of brainstorming, and we thought, okay, well, if we create a space where people can be any character that they've always wanted to be. I mean, that I always say to people, who are you when no one's watching, right? I mean, people do really strange, weird, and wonderful things, and they've got all sorts of hobbies and things that they're drawn to, but they don't always share that with their corporate colleagues or, so if we now create a space that there's absolutely no limits, anything goes, how can you show up for yourself in that space? And what will you then do to engage with others? So we've invited people to really go all out, and fantasy, magic, adventure, like I said, these are going to be the themes for the weekend. And to make it even more magical, we've invited some of the local artists in our community who hold that element of fun and magic and mystery. And I'm sure we're going to dive deeper now into the content of what's going to be expected in the weekend. But everyone has the blueprint of, guys, we are going big with fantasy and dress up and playfulness and music. So I'm so excited to see how people show up, what characters are awaiting us for that weekend.
I do believe that everyone is creative and has that ability because, that's really when we're channeling source. I feel like when we're creating and being creative and just expressing ourselves, right? So I really hope that people do come out and express themselves. I know I will be there in my whole Indigo Jedi attire. We've got a lot of things planned for for our whole section. So there's a lot of other elements to this festival as well, right? So it's not just the magic and fun. There's a lot of other thought that you've put into it. So I know one element is music, and we can touch on that. And there's also workshops, which have been very carefully thought out, and it looks like a very full schedule over these 2 days. So let's start with the music, and then we'll move on to the other section.
Think the best way to describe it is we've tried to cater for body, mind, and soul. So that it doesn't matter what walk of life you find yourself in, there will be something for you to come and enjoy for the weekend. And so for the music, I'm very blessed that our Tixa team are very connected. So Charlene from Tixa has been in the business for many, many years, and she's got the most incredible musicians and artists that she works with. And so we're very blessed that we will be joined by Andra Sillier. She's one of the local artists and she's got an incredible voice. We've also got Hollow Body, which is one of the local bands. And again, their music is, for those who haven't heard their music, I invite you after today to please just go and tap into these artists and just see what you can find. But they bring a very unique offering. And then on the Sunday, we've invited the guys from the SA Blues Society, Lavina. And for people who obviously love blues and, that whole scene, I think it's a perfect fit for a Sunday afternoon to just come and relax and enjoy. So there definitely is an element for everyone. And then for the younger crowd or the people who feel they still want to move their bones and they still want to, make things happen, Saturday night is going to be the party of the year. We've got two incredible DJs coming through. We've got DJ Tonya from Sasha Mama, and she's a medicine woman as well as a DJ, and she brings the most beautiful expressive dance movement experience. And then followed after that, we've got DJ Kerry Ann Alliston from the Mix FM crowd. She's also, I think, so well known in so many circles, an incredible artist as well. And she's going to be taking us through the rest of the night with beautiful music and just allowing people a space to express. So I'm very excited. I think it's going to be incredible. And then the owner of the Klitsgras drumming venue where the event is going to be held, he's actually also bringing in 2 music workshops for the weekend. So on the Saturday, people can look forward to do an actual drumming workshop with him. So the djembe drums. And then on the Sunday, he's going to teach people how to play the didgeridoo. And I think the didge is also one of those instruments that so many people are always mesmerized by this incredible sound, but not a lot of people know how to play it. So if you've had a dream to learn how to play it, this is definitely the perfect opportunity.
I have come to Klitsgras to check out the venue, and I was absolutely mesmerized by the effort that has been put into making it a real proper drumming venue. There's this like one sort of mini auditorium. It's almost like a pit, and there's steps going in, which is where people sit, and I think that's where a lot of drumming takes place, and it's really a powerful.
Experience it. The sound in that space when you are part of a drumming circle is something that you have to experience. It's just beautiful.
Yeah, it's true. When everyone is hitting the drums, you can actually feel the vibrations going through your body, and it's just penetrates all parts of your being. It's really fascinating. So I'm very excited about the music lineup. That's going to keep a lot of people interested. Even if you're not interested in health and wellness, you have music to come and enjoy. So let's move on to the workshops because you've put a lot of thought into the workshops. I know you mentioned that there's the four elements, right? There's the earth, fire, um, water, air. Yeah. And how does that fit in? And what is the thinking behind that?
Yeah, so the thinking for me is again, if we try and cater for all the different elements of life, we also have to look at the physical body, and all of these elements are actually present within our physical bodies. So I thought it would tie nicely with this whole idea of fantasy and play. And so the idea is that we've created four different realms, and in each of those realms, they will be represented by an element of what we can experience as humans. And in each of those realms, we will have conversations, I think, that will go nicely with that whole experience. So we've got quite a wide variety of people coming through for the weekend. And I just want to open my program here so that I don't miss out on any of it. But to just give you an idea, on the Saturday, when we start, we've got the guys from the Mindfulness Foundation. So I don't know if you guys have heard of the Heartfulness Foundation.
No, I haven't. Maybe give us some background. And guys, we are. I'm going to leave links to everybody that I'm going to leave obviously links to the event, but also links to all the stuff that Cindy talks about. So these foundations, the artists, etc. So you can go check them out.
Incredible. So, yeah, so we've asked again through my Harvest Festival earlier in the year, I came across the Heartfulness Foundation, and they've also been around for many years, and they've actually got a global movement to create spaces where people can come and meditate. And so a lot of their group meditations, locally and internationally, happen as a free session. And they've got huge crowds of people. They've got also a beautiful app, the Heartfulness Foundation app, that you can download on your phone. And through this experience, it teaches people step by step the art of meditation and how it brings us back to conscious breathing, obviously, all the health benefits of it, for us to connect to our inner knowing, listen to your inner voice, as well as the connection to source, to creation, to the universe. And we've asked the guys from Heartfulness Foundation just to open the event for us, to take us into a very conscious space for the weekend, to set the tone. So I'm very excited. So they are going to be facilitating a few of our offerings throughout the weekend, as well as a yoga offering. But I think what's beautiful is they bring that element of conscious awareness. So for people who are constantly looking for the deeper meaning of life and, finding out who they are, I think it's the perfect way of just connecting to yourself through the art of meditation. So that's definitely something we can look forward to. And then through that process of introduction and welcome, obviously we will be talking a little bit more about this principle of hive mind and how all of this community effort flows together and what our plan is for the rest of the year and for next year. So there will be a little bit of that. And then we've also decided, because a lot of the health and wellness events these days, we find there's a lot of there's things that have been done, but there's also things that hasn't been done. And again, we would like to push the envelope a little bit by bringing in alternative solutions for people. So yes, there is natural medicine and there is healing through healthy eating, but I believe the next step of the evolution is learning more about plant medicine. And we've really got some of the most incredible therapists with us for the weekend, who are they're very well known in the industry for their knowledge on natural medicine. And obviously through the Wellness Hub as well, we've got incredible therapists and healers that will be joining us for the weekend. But in our crowd, we've decided that we want to bring in conscious conversations around natural medicine or plant medicine and how that can actually facilitate healing instead of going on to chronic medication. Often people think that the only way that they can deal with chronic related issues is to deal with Western medicine. And what we have found is that there's obviously so many other solutions to one problem. And this is the opportunity we feel to have these conscious conversations. So we are going to have a whole list of therapists for the weekend that will be taking us through alternative solutions. So whether it is Changa, whether it is San Pedro, whether it is psilocybin, cannabis, there's so many things that we want to bring into this conscious conversation of saying these are the health benefits of changing onto alternative plant medicine, and also just allowing these professionals to take people through a process of guiding them and showing them this is what we can facilitate for you, and this is what it will look like when we facilitate something like this for you. So that's also something that people can look forward to. And then, of course, I think for most people in our holistic wellness circles, we've all come across the healing medicine of Ishkakal. And we're very blessed to have Sonika from Namaskar, who's going to be facilitating a beautiful ceremony. And I've been blessed in the past to have experienced many of her ceremonies. And it's not just a cup of cacao. There's a beautiful heart opening process that happens along with it. She's always channeling information that is really necessary for the collective in that time. So I'm very excited for that offering as well. And these are all still offerings that sort of happens between the fire arena and the earth arena, because we're tapping into the natural medicines. So those are all the types of things that they can look forward there. And then when it comes to the realm of air, we've decided we want to bring in movement. So there will be a lot of beautiful conscious dancing, some conscious yoga. We've got different yoga practitioners coming through with different yoga styles. So people can come through and experience different things for the weekend. Also, obviously, with different themes. And I think that's going to be a beautiful offering to experience as well. And then the part that I also feel extremely excited about for our water element is, again, complementary to the element of magic and mysticism, is going to be mermaids. So for some of you who are interested in the whole global movement of mermaids at the moment, it has been quite a craze. We've got Candice from Mermaid Storm Productions. She's going to be there to take people through a beautiful, immersive mermaid experience. So that's going to happen on the Saturday and the Sunday. And what that actually means is the full dress up. So she's bringing mermaid tails. She's going to teach people how to swim with these mermaid tails, how to breathe underwater, and just that magical energy of what it feels like to be in a mermaid experience. Sorry, I just need to take a sip of water. So that is another thing that we excited about for the weekend. And then to go into this experience of fantasy and play, we've invited Jacqueline from the Emotional Evolution. So she's a jeweler and an artist, and she's going to create a fantasy fashion show for us for the Saturday. And in that, we are going to allow people to come and express. So she's invited beautiful designers. So I can't wait to see what the outfits are going to look like, and the jewelry and the playfulness of that. So that's also something those who are interested in fashion and what the new trends are can come through and have a look. And obviously it's going to have that element of fun and fantasy and magic and mysticism to it. And then, yes, we've got, just want to quickly go back to my program here, see if there's anything else. Oh, yes. And then on the Sunday, I know that a lot of people have been asking me, is this event a kiddie-friendly event? Can we bring our children? Can we bring the whole family? So the answer is definitely yes. As much as we have something for the parents, we also have the guys from Brighter Minds who will be there on the Sunday. And again, we've noticed that the children that we have that were born in the last, I would say maybe 15 years of our Earth cycle, are very awake. You know, they come with incredible gifts, incredible awareness of what's happening in the world, and they just see the world in a completely different way. So the Brighter Minds Foundation have brought in a new way of looking at education. And what they're actually doing is they're encouraging children to use their intuition more. So there's beautiful practices and processes that they take the children through to tap into this playfulness, but at the same time to show them really how to listen to their inner voice and how to start trusting their inner voice. So that is also something, if you have children, to make sure not to miss that. That's going to be a beautiful experience. Um, and then we've also got another panel discussion on Sunday on the health benefits of cannabis. So I'm very excited. The guys from the green side will be there, and they're bringing in incredible food. They've got their apothecary there for the weekend. And then, of course, their knowledge on cannabis and medicinal cannabis specifically, what the benefits are of that. So I'm looking forward to the conversation with Myron there and just to see, what we can learn from him and his experience. And yeah, lots of sound experiences in between. I think I've covered most of it, but as you can see, there's so much that people can look forward to. And then, of course, we are going to have vendors, and there's going to be incredible foods and arts and crafts and, the regular things that you can expect from a festival like this.
It sounds so well thought out. So let's talk about some of the practical things because it is a 2 day festival, right? It's on a Saturday and a Sunday. So obviously there's camping, I guess, or accommodation facilities, that type of stuff. So maybe talk through some of the practical things people should be aware of.
I think for me personally, it would be the most beautiful experience if we can encourage people to stay for the whole weekend, because there's just so much that we wouldn't want them to miss out on anything. So we're very blessed in the sense that Klitsgras offers quite a big space for people to gather. And there's a beautiful part in the forest where we are going to set up a camping facility. And so the camping comes with two parts. For those who are, they avid campers and they love camping and they want to do this all on their own, they're welcome to bring their own gear, their own tents. We are going to have space for them to set up. And that is something that can be booked separately on our ticket link. And then we also know that there are people who don't know more about camping, or they're not too familiar with the setup of camping, but they would love to stay with us for the weekend. So we've got a lady from Moahi Camping who's going to set up some glamping style tents for us. So in essence, what it means is she sets up your entire camp for you and you arrive and you just enjoy. So that's also an option that people can book. And then for those who feel that camping is a little bit rustic for them, they're not too adventurous, we've got a guest house just down the road. So we've got a link on our ticket information page where if you want to stay in the guest house option, you will just click on that link and it will take you through to the accommodation for the guest house for the weekend. So I think we're really catering again for everyone. You can either do it yourself or have it set up, or have a luxurious bed in a guest house down the road. So we really want to invite people to come and stay for the whole weekend. We are going to have shower facilities set up for the weekend for the campers, and obviously delicious food. So people will, all they have to do is to bring their magical costumes with them for the weekend and open hearts, and the rest will be provided. So I think, yeah, it will be a beautiful experience if people can stay for the entire weekend. We've also got options in the ticket where there's either a day pass or the whole weekend pass, and there is a discount if they decide to stay for the entire weekend.
Amazing. So yes, guys, just remember all that information is going to be in the description. Links to the ticketing site, links to the event page, links to all the relevant artists and practitioners. So all the information is there for you to find out and check out this amazing, amazing festival in health and wellness. So Cindy, where do you think what do you think is the next step? I mean, I guess you want to do more festivals, but I see there's a big, like you said, an awareness movement that started with COVID, and people are becoming more aware and asking questions, getting a bit more curious. So, do you think this is going to help? I mean, obviously, it's going to help with awareness, but how do you see the landscape sort of changing and shifting over time?
I think one of the benefits that came out of COVID was that everything moved online and that people have access to healing sessions or conscious conversations or communities online. And the desire really is after the Serenity Festival that the people who join us for this weekend, that they become a part of our community and that we will have an option for them to not just attend our festivals and our events and our talks in person, but to also start to follow us online. And we've actually had discussions with the guys from VUS TV, and they do a lot of local projects where they do, it's almost like live streaming, where they tap into a specific community project that's busy happening. They actually work a lot with charity as well and fundraisers with people with chronic conditions or Cancer Foundation, those types of things. And the idea would then would be to have an online channel that people can tune into, to say every week maybe we have a specialist in a specific field that will have a conversation regarding some health and wellness related topic. And so if they tune in on a weekly basis, they can stay up to date with what's happening in the world of health and wellness. Obviously, a lot of alternative healing solutions as well. And there will also be an option to connect with coaches. So if you want to connect to a therapist or a coach and do your own private sessions, if you are part of our community, then you will know who to connect with. We will have a list of therapists that people can then have access to. They can connect with these people, either do a one-on-one or group sessions with them. And the long-term project would be to have programs that we will be running from the beginning of the year to the end of the year that people can tap into. So again, different themes focused on different age groups, different maybe needs that people might have. And then people can have a look at the program for the year and see which of the programs or which of the themes they are drawn to, and maybe tap into that as this is what they feel they resonate with, and then we run it accordingly. And I think I'm excited also to see how our collaboration is going to go forward with the Wellness Hub and with Indigo Jedi, because I think you guys bring a lot of the really experienced therapists as well. And maybe this is the perfect opportunity for Hive Mind and the Wellness Hub to just join forces and say, how can we put together conscious programs going forward that people can actually tap into on a regular basis?
Yeah, because what I've noticed is there's people at all different levels of awareness and curiosity and interest in health. Like there'll be people who know absolutely nothing and they're just eating um, a very poor diet with no conscious awareness. And then there's people maybe a little bit, and then there's maybe extreme people. But there's a lot of contradictory information out there. So there's one person or one group of research saying one thing and another group of research saying other things, so people get a bit overwhelmed and confused and not sure. And I notice when that happens, then they just remain in the status quo and do nothing or go to their trusted source, right? So yeah, it is a big challenge, and I think that's really what we have to try and create, this program that's friendly for all people at different levels of their journey, um, and also become trusted. And that comes by having really credible, experienced practitioners, because this is an interesting space, right? This spiritual work, and if you do spiritual work and you don't really know uh, what you what you're doing, or you don't have a lot of experience, it's big stuff. You're working with energy, and energy is very, very powerful if you tap into it. So I'm very excited to see how it all grows and develops and evolves. But sorry, you had a comment?
I wanted to say, I think the thing that excites me the most is the fact that we are tapping into a community of facilitators and healers, which means the wealth of knowledge and experience that we will have to offer to our clients and the people in our community is going to be so vast that we have so many options for them. So you're no longer in a world where you sort of have to just follow, someone gives you a script and says, this is it. You're going to have the power of choice, and you can tap in and listen to different facilitators and therapists and healers, and from that draw your own conclusion and say, okay, this is what I feel is right for me, this resonates for me, and then start to discover what your own path to healing is. So that's exciting for me.
And I think you mentioned a very important point, because the journey for one person might not be the same for another. We're all unique, and we all have uh, different things that would resonate with us, because it's our higher self or inner self calling for that thing. So maybe for one person, yoga is what really calls them, and is their bridge in their spiritual work and journey. And for another person, it might be something completely different. And I think that's why you're offering such a wide range of options and facilities and therapists, so people can actually go and see what is it that resonates with me. Because guaranteed there is something that you will find. It might not be yoga, but might be something else, and it might be something you've never heard of, right? um, and I think that's what you're trying to encourage, right? People, you want them to try and experience something that they haven't tried before. Maybe it's a sound journey, or the water thing, or the mermaid thing, or something that's completely new. And in that trying and playing and being open is where you find your true self. At least that's what I feel.
I actually just remembered also in our water realm, we are going to have the ice water immersions as well. And I think this theme of transformation is the thing that will be the theme for the weekend. Is it doesn't matter, like you say, which one of these experiences, whether it is the ice immersion or a cacao ceremony, or one of the workshops, whatever it is to understand that if you arrive with an open heart and an open mind, whatever needs to be transformed in your being will shift over that weekend. And I always believe in divine synchronicity. I believe that we meet the right people at the right time with the exact information that we need in that moment. And if people arrive with that mindset, that this entire weekend is going to be a gift for me that will lead me to the next step in my journey of self evolution, they will be amazed at the experience of who they will meet, what they will experience, and what will happen. So I think just from that perspective, it is already going to be profound. And even if they don't attend all of the workshops, if they are just part of the music and the crowd, there's still going to be an element of transformation. Because for me, the other thing is that's also why we chose the name of Hive Mind. Is we are moving into an era where, as we raise our conscious awareness, we start to vibrate on the same frequency, which means the wisdom and the knowledge that a group of people have will then be shared with the greater collective. So it becomes like a beehive, information gets shared much quicker. And yes, we have access to a lot of information now online anyway. But when you are sitting in a group, it's almost as if there's a higher resonance of truth and a higher resonance of awareness and consciousness that takes place, where there's a group of conscious people gathering. So even if people join the circle for the first time, they will feel that something is different, in this space. There's something beautiful or magical happening when you are just surrounded around conscious conversation. And whether you're sitting next to the fire and just listening, or whether you are playing a drum, or whether you are dancing around the fire, something in your being is going to shift, and you will feel that there's some greater purpose awakening within your being. And I think that will be the aftermath that will happen after the weekend. People will go home and go, wow, that was an incredible experience, not just because of the workshops that I attended or the music that we shared, but something within me was awoken. And I think it's that woke state of being that we are shifting into as a collective. And also to encourage people that not to feel overwhelmed by this journey of self-discovery. It's not this big thing that has to be done. It's actually a never-ending journey. So until you breathe out your last breath, you are constantly evolving. So instead of taking on this serious persona of now I have to do, this really deep work of shadow work and all of that. And yes, sometimes that is what happens as a result of it, but it doesn't mean that that is the only thing that happens. You can also take on the light-hearted approach and say, how can this be fun for me? How can this be a beautiful experience that transforms me, body, mind, and soul, where I connect with people who are joyful and who have purpose? And in doing that, they actually show you through their actions how you can live a better life. And so staying in a space of we are constantly evolving, constantly changing to be the best versions of ourselves. And if we surrender to that flow, that's when the magic happens. It's when we hold on to our old patterns and our old beliefs and our old way of being, and we're in a state of resistance. That's when we go into pain and struggle and heaviness in our minds. And when we allow ourselves to shift into how can I just go with the flow, that's when life surprises us most. So yeah, I think that's one of the magical things that will happen after the event.
And you mentioned a lot about the community, right? So this is a community built project and initiative, and I think that's really good to see, because instead of a big corporation coming and building it, we're actually building it from the ground up, from with the people, understanding what they need, including all the people in building the foundations of it. So do you think that's really important to keep it going? Like, I mean, was that what you thought about, to go from the ground up in building this sort of project and initiative?
Yes, I think to keep with the theme of Hive Mind, our beehive that we were thinking of is with the beehive, obviously, all of the bees are focused on this beautiful golden elixir that they are creating, right? And it's not just nourishing, but it can be used as medicine, it can be used as a delicious treat. So there's something so beautiful that happens when people align as a community and they start to work together towards a common goal. And again, I think the beauty is that when we bring people together from different walks of life, we call it flow management. But in essence, what happens is when we sit around a table with people from 15 different industries and we say, right, our current issue, for example, is water, right? How do we get the best quality of water to everyone in the community? You will be amazed at the information that comes through on the table, because you don't just have one person putting their opinion on the table. You've got a doctor, a scientist, an architect, an engineer, a baker, a mother, and they're all coming together to say, right, in my personal capacity, this is the importance of water for me. This is how it affects my household. And these are the things that I feel is most necessary that needs to happen. And so in these innovation sessions, when we sit and we brainstorm these issues, these are the beautiful things that then happen as a result of community. So if we look at what's busy happening globally, a lot of people are saying they want to move away from the city. They no longer want to work in this stressful environment of 9 to 5, and they want to live in the country and maybe tap into an eco community. A lot more of that is happening globally now, where people are.
Yeah, I really like that context, right? So the community builds it together, because everyone in the community can have some sort of input or comment or knowledge about this topic. And if everyone is working to the same goal, it really amplifies the effect. And that's beautiful to see. So you spoke a bit about all these existing systems collapsing and new systems coming into play. Do you think that there's going to be new systems and technologies that we haven't even dreamt of that are going to come into play in the wellness space? So we're back again after a little technical glitch. So we were talking about the future of medicine and the evolution of health, wellness, lifestyle medicine into the future. So Cindy, you were telling us about that.
Yes, I'm very excited. I think there's so much happening behind the scenes that we as the public are not aware of. And I think it's also for good reason that things happen, one step at a time, because we often have to wait for the evolution of humanity to catch up before the most incredible experiences happen. But I personally love doing research on what's happening globally in the health and wellness world and with technology specifically. And the current movement is that there's a lot of new technology coming in that humanity might not yet be ready for, but I can see that there's already some of the health clinics in Europe that's busy making use of that. And it is around the energy of sound frequency, so sound wavelengths and frequency healing, as well as bringing in light technology. So anything to do with different frequencies of light or different vibrational frequencies of sound, I think ultimately is where we are moving into. And there's also another message that I was listening to regarding the medical beds that will be available soon, maybe in the next 5 years or so, where we will have access to incredible technology that will use the elements of light and sound to heal chronic conditions. And the results will be so astounding. And I know that there are already therapists in Europe that's busy using this as part of their modality. So it's early days still as part of practices. But we have, I mean, if you think about things like a sound journey, right? When people attend a sound journey, um, the pureness of the frequency of the sound that they experience in that hour or so that they have access to brings about such a clear mental shift. And then we've also had people recording to say that they've had backache or whatever the physical ailments are that they've been struggling with, or the symptoms that they feel that they have in their physical body. And then after a sound journey, those are completely gone. So we know from different experiments and different research that has been done that there is healing benefits in sound frequency and light healing. So light frequency healing. And so I think those are the kinds of things that we can look forward to. But I also believe that there's many more things that we are not yet aware of that will be coming through for us. And it really is this shift of consciousness that we've been waiting for, where people give themselves permission to say, I no longer have a fear of the unknown because I trust that absolutely everything is rigged in my favor. And so whatever life brings into my space is the thing that will bring me healing. So that is very exciting. So I think, yeah, if we stay open-minded, we will be surprised in a beautiful way.
Yes, that's amazing. I'm very excited about all the changes that are happening, especially on the health and wellness side. So, Cindy, just to conclude on the Serenity Festival, it's taking place 26th, 27th of October. So still 2 months from today, the day of recording. And it's a life-changing festival filled with lots of activities, lots of magic, fantasy. Come and express yourself and be yourself and find yourself. Is there any other words that you'd like to add to people to encourage them to check out this amazing, amazing initiative?
Yes, of course. If they want to know more about the program and what we are doing as the Hive Mind community, they're welcome to follow us. So, information on the event itself will be on www.tixa.co.za, and they can just type in Serenity Festival in the search bar. All the information will come through. There will also be a drop down link for all the different workshops as well as the camping options. So they need to make sure that they scroll all the way down to select the right option for them. And then with regards to Hive Mind itself, we are, because it's such an early days program, we are still putting together our actual landing page and our website, but they can follow us on Facebook. So in our Facebook weekly journey, we will share whatever's happening, all the community programs that we're busy with. So please make sure to follow us on Facebook on Hive Mind. And then, yes, just to stay in touch. Once you've attended one of our workshops, like I said, the aim is to become a part of the community and just grow with us. That will be the exciting part of the journey.
Amazing. So guys, if all the links are going to be below this YouTube video, so do check it out if you want to get more information about this festival. Cindy, we really appreciate your time putting this event together, organizing it, creating the hype, coordinating all the practitioners, the space, the creators. I mean, it's a phenomenal job that you're doing, and well done. And we really appreciate you. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much. It's my great honor. Thank you.
Okay. So till next time, stay well. Bye for now.